Hey everybody, good afternoon. It's Chris Mahan again. I'm driving home and had something happen today that I think is important to talk about for a Car Talk video. This happens to be an issue that happens every day in almost every type of home, almost every type of setting, and that is domestic violence. Oh yeah, we've all heard about that, haven't we? Well, I happen to have 6 young ladies in my class this month. So statistically speaking, there's going to be a few that have either experienced domestic violence or are currently experiencing it just because of the high volume of cases and having that many girls in one class. So yesterday, one of the girls, she's 18 years old. She's dating a 35-year-old guy with a 7-year-old son. That's a problem. But today, another girl, 18 years old, she's living in the home of her 17-year-old boyfriend with his parents and his grandmother. And she revealed, as I was out of the room, to a lot of the other girls, all the other girls, that she was being abused. She showed the bruises, things that were happening to her. And I had begun to already suspect that there was some things going on just because of her comments and what she was saying about certain things and how she was reacting to certain things that I was talking about in the class. So it was confirmed today that yes, she is currently highly abused. She cannot live with her parents because her mom's a drug addict and so is her dad, and they live in another city here in Florida. So she's 18 years old, pretty much nowhere to go, so she believes. So I went to my boss and I said, here's the situation, and right away we started to take the actions that we could take legally. The problem is this. As I was walking out, I talked to my other coworker, and he used to work for the schools, and he was saying that it's so normal today. That's a horrible word to use, and he and I both agreed that was not the best word, the best choice of words, normal. But it's so normal today, abuse, that we almost have become, weakened by it. We don't really get excited over it anymore. We don't get angry by it anymore. We see commercials, we hear about things, we can read statistics from the CDC or local counties, the school system, we can get all the stats we want. But until this act of violence and hate and physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, whatever type of abuse it is, hits us in the face, we just kind of look the other way. We don't really seem to care as a society. This is a very dangerous road that we are going down as a society. To not care about those around us in a way that if it doesn't affect us, we just don't really seem to, make a difference, or not really going to say anything because we don't get involved, whatever the case may be. This is very dangerous for us as a society. It's very dangerous for our young people. Now think about this. In this particular case, the abuser is 17 years old. 17. His mom and dad and grandmother are all condoning this behavior. They're not doing anything about it. They hear it, they see it, they just kind of let it go. This girl, very bubbly, great personality, trying to get her life on track. Yes, she needs her GED. Yes, she's trying to do better. Is in a situation where she doesn't believe she can get out of it. When we were talking about things today, before I knew she was being abused, she was making justifying excuses to justify why she's still there, why he does what he does. It's her fault. Just all kinds of things. And I began to think, this isn't right. There's something going on here. Later today, it was confirmed. But as a society, what are we doing? We don't do enough. We don't think. Well, if this is someone else's daughter, what could happen to my daughter? Is my son abusing anybody? Am I modeling my behavior that would indicate to my son or daughter that abuse on either end, the receiving end or the giving end, is okay. You know, our young people model our behavior. Come to find out that this 17-year-old boy that's beating this girl up, his father is abusing his mother. So he sees it as apparently normal. We know that the cycle of abuse continues. My question is, if we know this, and we've known it for decades, why aren't we doing more about it as a society? Why aren't we doing more about it as adults? Why aren't we doing more about it legally? Why aren't we doing more about it individually? You know, what are you doing? If you see something, do you report it? Or are you too afraid to get involved? You know, this has been studied since the 1960s when a young lady, her name was Genevieve, I cannot think of her last name, I know it's terrible, very famous case of the bystander effect. Anybody knows psychology knows exactly what I'm talking about. She just had the guy that killed her, he just died about a week or so ago in prison. And I cannot, it's like Genevieve or BC, or I cannot think of her last name. But you can look it up. 1964 bystander case in New York. Young lady was killed, stabbed, and asking for help. Now the story goes in this, that no one helped her when she screamed for help. Not necessarily true. I've done some research on it. However, over the years, it has caused the social world, the psychological world, to ask these questions. Why don't people get involved? What is it about getting involved that scares people? So my question to you is, if you knew that someone was being abused, hurt, in any way, at any age, what would you do? Would you get involved? Would you call the police? Would you go to them? Would you step in for them? That's my question to you today. Ask yourself, would I get involved? And if not, why? That's the big question. I want to know your thoughts. Again, it went a little over today, 7 minutes. Find me at leadyourteen@gmail.com or shoot me a message back here on Facebook. I'd love to know more about what you think about this. And together, we can make a difference. Thank you. I'm Chris Mahan. Thank you all very much for your time.